Okay, cabbages. Let's get down to business. So we've covered up that we need to reverse things. Now, the other problem that kids have with algebra is I don't know how to do it when it's a Z. What? I can't do it when it's not an X. It bothers us. Us math teachers get really, really angry. That's kind of like saying you can't do math if you're wearing a red shirt one day. It's the same math. So we start with the easiest one. I'm going to put down one question. You are going to do this question in your head, which is going to make me angry. And I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Okay? Everybody ready? I'm going to write down the question. You're going to do the answer in your head. 3 plus X equals 19. What's the answer? Of course. And you did it in your head, yes? Why is that a problem? Sam? Well, obviously you know how to do it. You all got the right answer.
Well, you don't know why.
Okay. I kind of hear what you're saying. How many of you would show me work on that question? You're a liar.
I would.
You would.
You said show me work, right?
You're such a liar.
I would. Okay, I would do minus 3 on that side, minus 3 on the other side. And then
You would do this.
Yeah, and then X would be by itself. Yeah.
You would. Good.
You just do 19 minus 3.
Of course you do,
What?
Jack. That's exactly what you do. Here's the problem.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that's what everyone else
Yes, that's what everybody did. And everyone was right to do that. But almost every one of you would refuse to show me that work. Because you would say, I can do that in my head. I need to show work. Which is wonderfully correct until more than one thing happens. And then, sorry. And that's no good. Even though, if you showed the work on every question, you would know exactly how to do it. Now, I'm going to give you a little hint. This is probably how you were taught algebra in the 8th grade, 7th grade. You were probably shown that, yeah? But some of you, like Jack just said, recognized, hey, wait a minute, don't you just do 19 minus 3? Don't you?
Yeah.
So,
Essentially what you're doing.
you know this x needs to be by itself, yes? So you have 3 plus x equals 19. You know x needs to be by itself, so 3 has to move, right? Once something hops over the equal sign, it changes signs. So you end up with x equals 19 minus 3, which is 16. Always. Everybody cool? So if I gave you this, x minus 12 equals 37. What is it? Samry. You would do plus 12 to both sides. If we were in the 8th grade and we were learning how to do it with Mrs. Bag Crumble, that would be no problem. We'd have 49, yeah? But now, Mr. Myers has given you this lovely little trick. Whoop. X equals 37 plus 12. 49. Everybody Gouda? How many maths have we covered? 2. Addition and subtraction, right? Addition and subtraction are the same thing, aren't they? Okay, so we're covered, yeah? Right? Everybody can handle it, yeah? Okay, great. What if I have this? 3x equals 15. I would divide by 3. Now here's where people get angry. Oh, I get it. Yeah, no problem. Divide by 3. X equals 5. Right? You guys aren't going to fall into the trap that I'm about to draw here, but almost all of your peers do. How do you solve that? You have to divide by negative 3. So x equals negative 5. Most of your peers cannot make the distinction between adding the opposite and dividing. Okay? They see plus and minus, and they see you have to switch positive and negative. Is that what you are doing? No. You are switching addition and subtraction. This, the math that you see, is what? Multiply. So the math that you do is what? Divide. Because you are reversing the operation, not the symbol. Does everybody see that? Yeah? Because that really makes me want to take my magic pen and stab it right through my eye. Okay? You are doing the opposite operation. Now, the next thing to remember is when you he said do, when you do that opposite operation, you are only getting rid of one thing, right? And anytime you do, he said do, the opposite operation, you must remember to do that to both sides. Why? Why did your math teacher make you write it this way when you were learning? To help you remember, you have to do it to both sides, or that symbol isn't true anymore. Right? Right? Okay. Now, I am not going to get you guys to draw pictures of equations like some previous teachers have done, because I believe that you are telling me the truth. However, I am going to discuss the one thing that you guys are really poor at, even you guys, in my past. Maybe not you guys. Maybe you'll be the class that gets it. X over 5 equals 6. Amshuman?
So what you have to do is multiply by 5.
Why?
Because it's the opposite of what you see.
You see divide, so you multiply by 5. And what does x equal? 30. Lovely. Now, I said that it gets to be a pain for a lot of grade 9s. That kids can't do. Okay? That causes trouble. Everybody with me? Now, of course, you know through common sense that what is x? 5. Because 15 divided by 5 is 3, yes? Which is wonderful until I give you this question. Now you're in trouble, aren't you? Because you ain't getting that in your head. Yeah? Okay. So this is the one I need to spend a bit of time on. Yes, Sam?
Wouldn't you do the same thing, but instead of multiplying the
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get at. Okay? This x is not this x, is it? Why? Go ahead. This x is a denominator. This x is what? A numerator. This x is not by itself, is it? This x is really 15 times 1 over x, isn't it? Which equals 3. Understand? So this x is not allowed to be a denominator, which means he must move. Yes? Now, guys, I know I'm being sexist because I always call numbers boys. I'm not really. Yes, can you please talk about numbers in a non-gender specific language? No. The x would have to move. Now, here's the thing that bothers people. You know how when we moved every other thing in algebra, if we needed to move something, we did the opposite? For some strange reason, every kid understands that until we get to here. I need to move x. How many times do I need to move x? Twice. I have to get him out of the denominator, and I have to get him by himself. So if I have to move x twice, I must have to do 2 operations on x, yes? 1, to move him out of the denominator spot. Well, what math do I see? Division, so I do multiply, and the multiplication I do is with the thing I want to move. So I must multiply by x. Now, if I do something to one side, what must I do to the other? Same thing. And now I have an x on the top and an x on the bottom, so they can cancel. So what do I really have? 15 equals 3x. And now the last step is always the same. Divide by 3, and x is 5. Now I am going to give you the very, very powerful piece of wisdom in math class. 15 over x equals 3. Watch. Everybody watching? What is 3 really? 3 over 1. Now I have fraction times fraction, and I can use cross multiplying. All of you already have heard the term. What probably wasn't made aware or made knowledgeable to you is the fact that for the rest of your mathematical life, any time, no matter what it looks like, you see a fraction equaling a fraction, you are allowed to cross multiply, no matter what. You can be doing trigonometry, you can cross multiply. You can be doing calculus, you can cross multiply. You can be doing geometry, you can cross multiply. You always get to use it. Some of you say, what is this cross multiplying? I have never heard of that. I hope none of you are saying that, but if you are, you're about to see. It is very simple. You look for the pair of numbers. There they are. And you multiply the pair and you divide the spare. A fun little rhyme, because Jack wanted helicopters, but I didn't. I'm going to tell him a rhyme. And you divide the spare. So, with your calculators, which you wouldn't need to do because this is so easy, you would do 15 times 1 divided by 3. 5. Now, unfortunately, very rarely does that work out. But the gift I just gave you, 7.24 over x equals 9.37 over 14.4 You can solve that easily. That times divided by that on your calculator all in one go gives you the answer. Okay? Okay. That is all you need to know to do every piece of algebra from now until the end of your lives. And yet people still have the audacity to say that it is difficult. Everybody okay? What's the key? Move everything so the x is alone. If you want to move something, you got to do the opposite of what you see. Are we allowed to forget every other math rule? No. Just like you're not allowed to forget all the rules everywhere in the world. You can't go walking down the street in Timbuktu, Mali, and stab someone in the eye and say, "Oh, I didn't know it was against the law here. I'm in a different place." No, it's not allowed there either. Okay? Okay. That's the beginning of our work. If you really understand that, which I'm sure you do, we will turn the page over onto two-step equations and equations with brackets. Do you like my snowy font?
I was
Huh?
It looks like a fish tank.
It's snowflakes falling on hills.
I thought it was fish
I
tank.
thought it was
So now, all you're doing is exactly what you've already seen. I've even written it all out for you. Where should you start? Your goal is to get x by itself, yes?
yes.
So can you start with x? Yes or no?
No, you can't start.
Of course you can't start with x. Why?
Because you have to get rid of the constant.
Because you have to end at x. If we were driving from here to Hanson, could we start driving at Hanson? No! What would be the point? We'd already be there. And yet, every year I have students. Minus 3x, Mr. Meyer. I got this. You said to move everything. I wish to end up with x alone, so I must get rid of everything else first. What's in the way of x being alone?
-14.
Negative 14. Now, if we were in Mrs. Bag Crumble's grade 7 class, what would we do? Plus 14, plus 14, 3x equals 24. Now what?
You divide by
Divided by 3, x equals 8. Yeah? Yeah, Mrs. Bag Crumble did a good job. Everybody understands. But math is going to get more complicated. So, why couldn't we do this?
you don't have to show it. Depends on 14.
You've shown me that you're moving it over. Cool? Now you might say to yourself, Self, that doesn't make a lot of difference. But it will as you go further along. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's look at the next one. What's in the way of m being alone?
The plus 3.
So I got to move them. Minus 3. Negative m over 4 equals what? 5. Now what?
Multiply by 4.
Negative m equals 20. Is m by itself?
No, that's negative.
There's a 1 in front
That's
of
negative
that.
1.
Negative 20. Yay! Right? Right?
Yeah.
Any problems? Of course not. Why is number 3 a pain in the bum?
There is two P's. Cause there's, it is
How much P am I allowed?
one.
1 P. How much P do I have? 2 P's. Fortunately, we've already done a unit on polynomials, haven't we?
Yeah.
Do we like that much P? No! We like as little P on our page as possible. Did you like what I did there? You hear that alliteration? As little P on our page as possible, people. I give you another one there, just for the fun of it.
So 3 P's.
So,
8P minus 5P equals 3P.
3P plus 9 equals what? Oh, too many numbers. So what do I do?
I get
To get
1.
1. Now listen to me, please. Once again, this is a pitfall that lazy math students fall into. Not you guys, lazy ones. Lazy math students don't take the time to learn what is happening. They learn steps. And steps is the way to screwing up. Because lazy math students say, oh, no, that -4 there. So I go +4. Oh, I got to do that to both sides. Okay, +4. All right. And then, oh, -5. Okay, I got to do -5 over there. Okay, so now I got 8P minus 5P, 9 plus 4 is 13 minus 5 plus 8 equals 0. And they don't know what to do. Because all they heard for my whole lesson was move stuff around by doing the opposite. That's what they took away from it. Because they aren't using their heads. The first step is always combine your like terms. How do I get 3P? That's 8 P's minus 5 P's. How do I get 1? That's -4 plus 5. Simplify first. Why do we think we call it simplifying? To make our work simpler. Now, this is super easy. Yes, what needs to move? The 9. So I have to move a positive 9. So what do? I move it over and I do minus. 3P equals -8. What's the next step? -8 over 3. And in this unit, we will leave fractions. I don't want that decimaled. I don't want it mixed numeraled. Do you understand me? Everyone? Everyone? All right. Now, what's yucky about example 4?
There's an M on the other side.
There's an M on both sides.
You have to move the M.
We're only allowed to have one M, Mr. Myers. One M and one M only. Now let's pretend this was a class where kids didn't understand math. And I made you draw this equation, like at the beginning of the unit. Right? If I were going to make you draw this, you would, of course, draw 2 M's on that side. And that would equal 5 M's on this side. And you would say to yourself, self, I need all those M's to be on the same side. If I was making you draw this, would you rather, you know that stupid game that kids play, would you rather erase all 5 of these and draw 5 over here, or would you rather erase 2 and only have to draw 2?
Erase 2 and draw 2.
Of course. Why? Because math guys are lazy. So, if in this example we moved the smaller number, what do you think we do every time? Always move the smaller number. Now, Jack, if I said that to a regular math class that doesn't learn what they're doing, could that statement get me in trouble?
Yes.
Yes, because then kids would be moving the smaller number, not the smaller number with the variable, even though I make my regular students draw it. Here's why. Would you rather move 5 bars that are that big or a bunch of little things? You're going to move the big heavy things first, yeah? Same thing here. Move the smallest variable first. Okay? So what's smaller, 2 or 5? So we're going to move the 2. Yeah? So I'm going to move that 2 over to here, correct? What is it going to become when it's over there? -2. So we're going to write this one out completely. -5 is going to equal 5m minus 2m plus 4. Now, what's wrong?
The 4 is on our
The
side.
4 is on the wrong side. So the 4's got to come back over here and become what?
It'll be -4.
-4 minus 5 is going to equal 5m minus 2m. -4 minus 5 is what? -9 is going to equal 3m. Divide by 3. M equals -3. Is everybody good?
Right.
Amshman.
Even if you don't move the smaller number, wouldn't you get the exact
You will always get the same answer. But many people screw up with the negatives. I don't like to leave you with a negative variable if I can. It's just a good guideline to keep in your head. So, looking at number 5, what would you get rid of first?
2h.
Wrong. Why? Because negatives are smaller than positives. Sam? So I would move this over here, and once my letters are over here, where's this number got to go? To the other side. So I end up with 3 minus 7 equals 2 plus 5. H. Yes? So what's 3 minus 7? -4 equals 2h plus 5h? 7h. What's my final answer? -4/7. Do we leave it that way in this unit? Yeah. For full marks. Okay? Now, I am going to button my lip. But it's going to make it hard to say what I wanted to say, so I'm going to unbutton it and say, all of you right now know how to do both ways to solve that. There's 2 ways. I'm not going to tell you either of them. Go. You can talk to each other. I don't care. But there are 2 ways to solve that. I'm going to write one side in red. And I'm going to write the other side in black. And pretend I'm an Ottawa football fan with the stupidest named team ever. It was only stupider when they were both Rough Riders. No, it's not about American football. One of my favorite comedians in the world just wrote an open letter to the American citizens. And the open letter was, the man is British. He was in Monty Python. The open letter mentions American football. And in that letter it says, one of the things that you are going to have to get rid of, because the point of the letter is, America, you are too stupid to be in charge of yourselves because you voted for Donald Trump. So the British are taking you back. We're revoking your independence. So then there's a whole list of things that are going to happen if you're American now. And one of them is, stop playing American football.
Why?
I'll get to it, Jack. Since there are, many of you will have noticed, first thing he says is, 1, it's a stupid game. 2, you will have noticed that nowhere else in the world plays American football. Why? Because it's a stupid game. The rest of us play football, a game that uses our feet. You should all learn to play real football, but you should probably start playing it with girls. Wait for it. The ones of you that are brave enough to play football with girls will then possibly be allowed to play rugby, a game that is similar to American football, but not with a rest every 2 seconds and wearing Kevlar body armor like a bunch of Nancy's. It's super funny.
That's the like American football.
Of course, because that's what you're used to.
Wait, so we can't play American football anymore?
No, it's a joke, Amshuman. Jack, make your joke about Amshuman not getting jokes.
I'm gonna need time.
Yeah.
Just, I'll get back to you.
Amshuman, you're an intelligent young man. Go on the internet and look up John Cleese Letter to America and read it. It's funny. You can even read it with your parents, unless they really love Donald Trump. Then don't.
Oh, I bet. No, yeah.
No, even though people say he's a bad president, he's actually a very great entrepreneur.
Nobody has any idea what kind of president he's going to be because he has yet to be a president.
Yeah. No, people like don't like him, but he's really good entrepreneur.
Not liking somebody doesn't mean they're not going to be good at their job.
No, I'm just saying, like, look.
I know.
Yeah.
People think he's gonna be a bad president, but when he acts now, but some people choose once they come to the presidency. So we don't have to do it, right? Oh, people say
Sam or Jack.
I read this thing, and it was this guy, and he was talking about how people are like, oh, we should all trust you, horrible
Exactly,
president
you're
and
not
stuff.
supposed to say
And
it.
he's like, that's like saying, and he's like, well, he's gonna be your president anyway. So that's like saying, well, you're on a boat, I hope the ship sinks. No, you want it to be good, you don't want it to fail. It's kind of interesting.
All right. Has anybody figured out the 2 ways that they can go about doing this question? Leighton, what's one way?
You distribute 3.
You can distribute.
Yeah.
So you could go 3x minus 4 equals negative 15. 3x minus 12 equals negative 15. 3x equals 27. And x equals 9. Yes? Who spotted the other way? Nobody?
You could divide by 3.
Oh yeah, this should be negative. Yeah. Sorry. Yep, that should be negative 3, and x should equal negative 1. But that's not the point. That's not the point. The point is we want the other method. Where's my eraser?
Oh, I know what to do.
What do?
You divide by 3.
Yeah, you divide by 3 at the very beginning, right?
Yeah.
And then you
Then you get
get
x
x
minus 4, then
minus
negative
5.
5, and x.
What's the other way? 3x minus 4 equals negative 15. Well, if I'm trying to get x by itself, and this 3 is multiplying by the whole group, can't I divide by 3?
Yeah, you can.
Now I have x minus 4 equals negative 5, right?
Yeah, then you
X equals negative 1. Now, there's a problem with that. Again, if you don't pay attention in math class and you only look at steps, what if it was this? Would the black method be a good method to use? No. Why? Yeah, because then you have x minus 4 equals negative 16 over 3, and then you got to figure out how to add 4 to that. Understand? Use your brains. Okay. Okay, so now, here we are in number 7 on the next page. Can I use the red method?
Yeah.
I can?
Yes, you can.
I can. But how many times must I do it? I got to distribute both to get rid of my brackets. So what do I really have?
4m minus 10 equals negative 3m minus 6.
You said plus 6, how you
It's
all-
like-
You guys are both aware I have never once rewarded either one of you for getting the answer out first, right?
I know.
Nor have I rewarded either one of you for good volume.
1 times though.
Okay. I'm sure the other 28 members of the class agree with you.
Yeah.
I know you don't. I'm well aware. I was just waiting to see if they'd figure it out. But here we are in the middle of November. They haven't yet. So I feel I should maybe help them out.
If Schumann doesn't get it, because you can't make another joke.
Yeah.
At some level.
But Sam does. So if Sam gets it, then Amshuman will have no competition. And Amshuman will just sit in the back yelling, which will make him look silly. And he will figure it out.
Yeah, but you want to say that he looks like he doesn't
I used to do that the rest of my life anyways.
Okay. So now what am I going to move first?
Oh, negative.
Why?
Negative.
I know you put your hand up, but he's talking over you. Isn't that annoying? Uh-huh. It's annoying enough for you to say, but I put my hand up. Oh! Myers 1, Nair 0.
Oh.
All right.
Schumann, if this is when someone makes fun of you in a fun way.
Roasted. Time to.
What's roasted?
Roasted is what people say when someone makes a joke about you that's mean. It's comedy, there's no shock.
Oh, the rules that you people have to live by to talk to each other. It's crazy. All right. Amshuman, with his hand up, had the right answer. Leighton, without putting his hand up, even though he just said that it bothers him when Amshuman and Sam do it, just did it himself, but I won't point any fingers. Leighton also had the right answer. He's going to move the negative 3m because it's smaller. So that's coming over here to get 3m plus 4m. And this is going over here to get negative 6 plus 10. 7m equals 4. M equals 4 sevenths. And you leave it like that. Please notice every question adds another layer. What's happening in...
Can I do this one?
Sure.
So it is 5 minus 8y minus 4.
Why?
Because it's a negative 4 that's attached to the bracket.
Because there's a negative out in front, so both of those have to change. Excellent. Equals.
Minus 3n. There's an owner and a next question. Equals 5y plus 15 minus 8.
Now what?
Now you have to bring the like terms together. So,
Too many numbers, too many letters.
Yeah.
That was
You have to
5y.
bring 8y first. Oh no, you have to do the 5 minus 4, which is 1. Is equal to 5y plus 7. And now you have to do like terms. You have to bring negative 8y there, which is 13y. And then minus, which is negative 6. 7. 6. 7. 6. 6. Negative 6, yeah. So, 13y is equal to negative. And then you divide by 13, divide by 13. Which is negative 6.
Gouda? Great.
And then the next one too.
I know.
Yeah, do the next one.
Oh, you're doing that one. No one's doing it out loud.
I'll get
No one's doing it out loud. Everyone's doing it on their piece of paper. We'll wait Wait a moment whilst you do that one, and then I'm going to throw a couple at you that are a little, look even more, look yet still different. You won't see me doing this on the screen right now, but if you watch the video, you will see me going through it, and you'll see all the steps in a second. Yo,
Whose class is behind us?
the stairs.
Oh, it's good.
Who has an answer for me? Just wait. If you're the only one, I want to wait a minute for more hands to go up. You can give your answer first. You can put your hand down now, Sam. I'm aware of that it might be wrong, but I doubt it. When a few more people have an answer, I will let you say yours out loud. Who has an answer? 2 more people have an answer. All right. Sam, what is your answer?
Okay, so I started with,
Just tell me your answer.
I got n equals 11 over 18.
Yeah.
How many people have n equals 11/18ths? How many people are on the right track to n equals 11/18ths? Which means finish off what you were doing and see if you get there, because it is right.
I heard a weed.
That's a name.
Anything can be a name.
I should just got a joke.
Anything can be a name.
So I can name
Oh my
my
God.
favorite refrigerator.
Trout fishing in America.
Kanye West and Kim Kardashian named their child North and Saint West. Northwest and Saint West.
That's lame.
Your kid like nothing.
Ah, boy.
There's like 3 people in the U.S. that are actually.
Isn't that like a grocery store?
There's one person in the U.S. named Trout Fishing in America. No. He changed his name to Trout Fishing in America. Because your name doesn't mean a thing. Your name means nothing. Although there is lots of measurable evidence that your name does indeed mean something. For example, a group of statisticians took 2 resumes that were exactly the same resume and sent them to 150 or 200 companies. The only difference is one of the resumes was for a man named Tyrone something. The other resume was for a man named Jonathan something. Guess how many people, guess which resume got more callbacks? Jonathan.
It sounds more classy.
Sounds white. Tyrone's a black person's name.
White people can have
Yes, they can, but the point that was being made by those statisticians is that your name does indeed mean something.
Is that
which is why names go through patterns. For example, when your parents, when your grandparents, were they living in Canada or the United States 50 years ago, if they were very rich, there was likely they had friends who named their children names like Tiffany, Brittany, and names like that. They were the rich person names. And then poorer, trashier people started saying, I'm going to name my kid that too. And now the names Brittany and Tiffany are often associated with lower classes. Yes, they are. They are.
What's a really sweet, whatever that means?
Huh?
What's a really like high rich person name?
There aren't any, because names don't matter. But the other thing that's weird about names is people will name their kids strange names in a desire to be unique. And I use the word unique on purpose because those same statisticians did a study of names in Los Angeles, and they found something like 50 different spellings of the name unique. People were spelling their kids' names like this. People were spelling their names like this.
I'm gonna name my child Nugget.
In a desire to be unique, people were doing things like that. All right, so as promised, I said I would do a couple more, and then I'm going to give you your work for the day. But first, I want to get that work started to print. Big comfy couch.
I love Troy. I used to respond that you
All right. I want you guys, you should have some blank space now at the bottom of your page. Solve these couple of equations. No, I don't want it over 7, you dummy head. There. Solve those. Man, I've heard to see what a pain. I'll be RB. It's your day's work.
He was so annoying.
You were adopted?
Yes, I was. I said adopted. What is going on?
Wait,
I don't know why.
smaller number goes on top or the bigger one? Yes.
Wait, try ko.
Am I right or am I wrong? Whatever. Whatever. Wait, I'll double check. How did you get rid of that? Did you just bring it over?
Done yet?
No.
What? So of course, there's a couple of ways to do it, but what I would do would be 3x plus 21 over 4 equals 15 over 2. Then of course I would cross multiply. 6x plus 42 equals 60. Then of course I would subtract. Now notice I'm doing the long way because there's a lot of work to this. 6x equals 18 and x would equal 3. Bum, bum, bum. Everybody Gouda?
Great. I'm shooing. You see, Gouda is just with cheese and graters when you use to cut cheese. So it's like X a ton.
40x minus 24 equals now. Is there a shortcut to this that you notice after you did this side? Not yet. Do I need to distribute this 3 before I do this? Really?
No.
Isn't it just 21? X plus 4? Yeah. It's another shortcut you can do, right? Because what is this saying? It's 7 times this. So it must be 21 times that, yeah? And then, of course, 40x minus 24, 21x plus 84, 19x equals 108. X equals 108/19. Yeah? Can everybody do it? Good. Here is your practice. Funny jokes and codes.
That's what I'm sure doesn't get.
No, he might get these.
Now, you probably still have to explain this.
Here is your puzzle sheets. Part of part of the fun is seeing how many of you can actually follow directions.
I love puzzles.
I bet he can. Now, if you look on your outline, you will notice on your outline that you have both of these now. What do you mean, what does it mean? It means we've done the first two things. What is next on your outline?
Quiz.
When could I give you that quiz?
After a test.
No. Anytime after tomorrow, when you see the right answers to the first two things. Okay? So, what is happening for you people over the next couple of days? You guys are getting your Unit 3 test, polynomials. You are getting that on November 17th, Thursday. You are having an equations quiz sometime after Nov 15th. Today is Nov 15th, which means I can give you an equations quiz anytime I want after today. True. After the 60th. Wise ass. 60th. Okay? Okay. Why do I have one more of these? Oh, because there's not a kid here. Is there always only 29 in this class?
Yeah, no, what about Miss Michael?
Yeah, Schumacher. Yeah. He shouldn't mock shoes. They're doing the best they can. Get it? Schumacher. You have ugly shoes. What are you, a Schumacher? As a matter of fact, I am. Michael could make fun of everyone's shoes because people would say, "Are you a Schumacher?" And he could be like, "Yeah, I am." You would go up to Michael and say, "Hey, are you a Schumacher?" "Yes, I am." "That's mean." "Why?" "Because I'm a shoe man." No,
I know, it wasn't roasted.
it's not a roasting at all. I am Schumann. Josiah, you should steal your sister's sweatshirt because I thought it was very funny. The little fobby one.